Hi, natural beauties. Welcome to Hair Talk with Elysia. Today's hair talk topic is how to blow dry and silk press natural hair. For my beauties that are not hairstylists, first you must understand what is texture, density, and hydration. Texture is when you take one individual hair strand and you look at the diameter or width of that hair strand. If it's small in diameter, it's fine texture. If it's medium texture. And if it's larger, it's coarse texture. Density is how many of those hair strands are there per square inch of your head. There's thin or fine density, medium density, and thick density. And you can have in between ranges as well. And hydration, of course, is simply moisture. Is it lacking moisture? Is it dry? Is it hydrated, extremely high hydration, or is it medium or moderately hydrated? And because of that, I decided to use Tag Concept Salon's Leave-In Heat Protectant Spray on my client Elysia here. And it's an amazing product for my fine texture clients, especially if you want to make sure your hair still has lots of body and lots of bounce and that it does not get oily very quickly. I love this product because it still keeps the hair hydrated, which means that it gives it a lot of shine. It protects it from the heat, and it's a great detangler as well. So after detangling Elysia's hair, I'm going to do 4 sections on her hair. But this is only because her texture is fine and her density is more medium than thick. Now, baby, if your hair is dry or coarse in texture, you definitely want to do more than 4 sections, okay, honey? Because the purpose of doing these sections is, number 1, to keep the hair detangled and stretched. Number 2 is to make sure the hair stays hydrated, it stays wet with water. And number 3 is to make it easier for you to get to the root of the client's hair or your hair and pull through to the ends to smooth the cuticle down. So you definitely want to make sure you choose the right amount of sections for your particular hair texture and hair density. There are about 4 things that I want to point out about blow drying natural hair. And number 1 is to make sure you focus on smoothing and stretching the curl, not just getting the hair dry. When you focus on smoothing and stretching the curl pattern, then you'll see a lot more shine in the hair, and that means you're going a bit slower than normal. And number 2, make sure that the hair has enough water in it, especially if the hair is a drier texture or a coarser texture, or you're just lacking moisture. You definitely want to make sure you have enough water in it. And if that means using a water bottle to re-wet the hair as you go through the blow dry, then do that. But that's going to give you that silkier finish that you want to see and that shine that you want to see. And number 3, you don't have to put so much tension on the hair or the scalp because it hurts, child. I've had people to blow dry my hair before because it's thick and it's natural, and they feel that they have to pull so hard, and you don't. All you need is a powerful blow dryer. Make sure the hair is wet, a Denman brush, and to take your time and go through the hair with the slow motion. Not too slow, but slow enough where you see that curl pattern stretching out. And lastly, you want to make sure you get the scalp dry. This is one thing I think people forget about, that sometimes the scalp holds on to water and they move on to the next section, and then the scalp in that area has caused the hair to revert, or the water on the scalp has caused that area to revert. So just make sure you get that scalp dry before moving on to the next section. Before silking my client's hair, I always like to part their hair wherever they're going to wear it for their style first. And then I'll do a ear to ear parting, and then I'll do a parting down the back. And for my sub partings, I always do a forward diagonal parting, either a 1/2 inch or inch section. And I love the forward diagonal partings because I can get closer to the scalp or the head shape without actually burning my client. And that just ensures that I'm getting those roots straight so that we can have a lot more longevity in her hairstyle. And also, I want to point out too that the way I choose how big my sections are is how hydrated is the hair, the texture of the hair, as well as the density of the hair. Now, for Alicia, she needs her ends trimmed badly, honey. So we did. So I decided to do a smaller parting just so that they don't revert on me. And that's also why you'll see me go back with my comb leading in front of my flat iron to help really smooth those ends out, because they will try to revert on you just because of the dryness. Split ends usually mean that they're lacking protein and that they're dry, and you need to trim them off because it's dead hair. And I'll also tell you too that I like to use the temperature setting of between 370 and 450 on my flat iron. Now, because again, Alicia's hair is somewhat dry on her ends, I'm using 450. But as we progress throughout her services and she starts to become more hydrated, her ends get better, I will more than likely decrease the temperature because she won't need as much heat to keep her hair straight and to make her hair last. There was one last thing that I wanted to point out about natural hair, and that's how you may have different textures depending on where you are on the head. Like the back texture might be different from the crown or the hairline. And just make sure that you cater your technique that you're using to that actual section of the head, and don't try to do one technique on the whole head because it might not turn out exactly the way you want it to. And now for Alicia's trim. We just gave her long layers and a side swept bang. But I also want to point out how important a trim is, honey. You have to keep your ends trimmed. And I would advise doing 4 to 6 weeks. I'm sure other hairstylists would agree. And I know that sometimes clients don't want to get their ends trimmed. I get it. You want to keep your length. But let me tell you, honey, it will keep your hair a lot healthier if you get your ends trimmed. It will be easy for you to detangle. It will be a lot more manageable. Your styles will last longer because they won't frizz as easily. And also your hair will just maintain hydration a lot better as well. So please, please, please make this a priority to keep your ends trimmed. And I definitely recommend going to a professional and letting them do it and not trying to twist your hair and trim your own ends. It does, kind of satisfy the problem at the moment, but it's long term. It's not going to really get rid of all of those ends that truly need to be cut. And now we're on to Alicia's style. We're just doing a loose curl, body curl. And as you can see in the video, I'm doing the curl with the tail on the outside of the flat iron as I curl, which makes it looser. And if you put it on the inside, it actually makes it tighter. So if you're wondering how to recreate this curl, that's how I did it. And we're just going to style her out.
go-to stylist to cut, to trim, to wash, to condition, to get me right if I'm having an event or if I'm just wanting to be cute around the city. Love, 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 love my service. Love the conversation, and I love even more my cuts.
Thanks, Natural Beauties, for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial and that more importantly, you learned something from it, honey. If you did, please subscribe, comment, leave a question, like, share, all of the above, child, especially if you want more tutorials. Also, if you want to check out the products or the tools that I use, look in the description box below and I'll leave links for you. Until next time, peace and love.